All right, Pac-Manians, we're back with the bottom half of page 3. I'm going to use military time. I don't have clocks on here. You can use a clock. You can use the number line. You can use any method that you want. I'm going to stick with this one. If you want another one, let me know. We can talk about it. I can show you at least one more way that I know of to do this and keep track. But one thing I just want you to remember, and I'm going to put it right here, and I'm going to erase it to do the problems, but when I borrow from military time, I'm going to put like 11:38 right there. Okay. There's only one thing you need to remember. If I subtract from here like 19 or 41, all right, and I make that a 3. Okay, I obviously can't subtract. I obviously cannot subtract 9 from 8, right? So I have to borrow. That's normal. I would just cross that off and make that a 2. Okay, that's normal. So anytime I borrow from the 10 minutes, that just stays the way it is. Here's where things get tricky. I can't subtract 2 from 4, okay? I can't do that. I have to borrow. Now, hours are 60 minutes long, not 100 minutes long. So when I borrow from this, I cross that off and I make that a 0. I have to add 6. 2 plus 6. That becomes an 8 now because I'm borrowing 60 minutes, not 100 minutes. Okay, that's the only thing you need to remember. Every time I borrow from the 1 hours, it's adding 6, not 10. Add 6, not 10. Then I can subtract this. 4, this is 9, right? Okay, now I've got 0 minus 3. Well, this is just the same again. I cross that out, make it a 0, add my 1 there, and I get 749. Okay, so when I do the military time like this or subtract time like this, the only thing that's different is when I have to add or subtract from the hours. And then when I add them, the only thing that's different is this. 9 plus 8 is 17. I put a 1 up there. You probably can't see it. That's fine. I'm going to get an 8 here, and then I'm going to get a 14. Anytime this number here is more than 6, I have to subtract 6 and add 1. Minus 6 plus 1, I get 7, 2, 5, 1. I get 1527 because anytime I get to 6, that's an hour. It's got to go over. Then I just take that 1527 and I subtract 12. All right, and I get 27 and 327. Okay. I can do a short little mini lesson on this whole thing if this is confusing to you, and I'll just put a white piece of paper in there. But as for right now, I'm going to do these problems. Okay, so start time is 11:38. I'm going to put that here. I'm going to get a new pen. And elapsed time is 3 hours and 10 minutes. So I'm going to add 3 hours and 10 minutes. And this one's pretty straightforward. 8 plus 0. 8, 3 plus 1, 4, good, that's perfect. As long as it's less than 5, I'm happy. I don't have to do anything, right? Or less than 6. 1 plus 3 is 4, 1 plus 1 is 1. So I get 1448. If it's larger than 12, I subtract 12. Minus 12. These two numbers always stay the same, 48. All right? And I get 4 minus 2 is 2, and 1 minus 1 is 1. So 1448 is the same as 248. And I went past 12, right? So I become PM. Anytime I cross 12, go in either direction, I'm going to switch from AM to PM or vice versa. All right, here's one where I have elapsed time is 2 hours and 37 minutes, and then ending time is 1:15. The first thing you want to do is add 12 to this and get yourself a military time. 13:15, okay? Now I'm going to take my ending time, 13:15, and I'm going to subtract 2 hours and 37 minutes. Okay. Pause if you need to. Catch your breath. Rewatch that, right? I added 12 to my end time because it's 1:15. I want a big time. And then I'm going to subtract 2 hours and 37 minutes from it to go back in time, right? Back to the future here. So now I'm going to borrow. 5 minus 7 I can't do. So when I borrow from the 10 minutes, it's normal. Cross it off, make it a 0, put a 1 there. 15 minus 7 is 8. Good. 0 minus 3 I can't do. So I'm going to borrow from the hour. which is 60 minutes. So I'm going to add 6. I'm going to cross this off, make that a 2, and then I'm going to add 6. 6 plus 0 is 6, so I'm going to put a big 6 up there. 6 minus 3, 3. Good. 2 minus 2, 0. And 1 minus nothing is 1. So I get 10:38. So my starting time was 10:38. Now it ended at PM. I obviously crossed back over 12, right? So this becomes AM. And think about it. It doesn't make sense that you would start at 10:38 PM and end at 1:15 PM. All right? Okay. So here I've got elapsed time is 2¼ hours. How many minutes in a quarter hour? 5, 10, 15, right? So this is 2 hours and 15 minutes. My end time is 5:30. So I'm going to put 5:30 and I'm going to subtract 2:15 because I want to go back in time to get to my start. So when you have to go back in time, you subtract. Should make sense, right? This is great. 0 minus 5, can't do it. So I go next door and I borrow. That's just a 2, right? That's normal to borrow from here. The only time it's weird is if I borrow from the 1 hours. It's the only time it's weird. 10 minus 5 is 5. 2 minus 1 is 1. And 5 minus 2 is 3. Did I cross over 12 at all? No, I did not. So I have 3:15, right? And it's PM still. And that makes sense. I wouldn't go all the way to 3:15 AM in just 2.5 hours. So also think, does my answer make sense? Here's one. I've got 7:41 as my start time, and then my end time is 8:50 PM. Okay. So when I do something like this, it's PM to PM, and that's awesome. I'm going to write 7:41. Okay. And then I'm going to go step by step. I want to get my minutes first and then my hours. Minutes first and then your hours. So start on the right. I want to get to 8:50 over here, okay? So my minutes, I want to go from 41 to 50. So how do I get to 50? I have to add 9. So I'm going to add 9 minutes, and I get, this is where I wish I had you guys in class. All right, so now I'm at 7:50. I've added 9 minutes. If I want to get to 8:50, what do I need to add? Another hour. So I'm going to add that here. Okay, and that's going to give me 8:50. So if I've added an hour and I've added 9 minutes, that's 1 hour and 9 minutes. Okay, when it gets weird is if I have to cross over to like 27, then I got to get to a whole hour, then the fractional part of the hour, I add those 2-minute things together. And same with if I have to cross over 12, which if I were you, I would just convert it to military time anyway, and then you're off to the races. You're good to go. Okay, explain how you could find the number of seconds in a full 24-hour day. Number one, I could use Mr. Packheiser's chart, which would be, I guess, technically cheating in a way. Or I have to take the number of, well, what do you think? I agree with you. You should take, there's 60 seconds in a minute, right? And there's 60 minutes in an hour. And there's 24 hours in a day, so it's probably something along the lines of 60 times 24, right? Which is a big number. So let's break this up right here. This is associative property. What's 60 times 60? Well, what's 6 times 6? 36. How many zeros do I have? 1, 2. So I put 1, 2. So I'm going to take this 3,600 now and times that by 24. Now I'm not going to do it side to side. I'm going to do it over here. 3,600 times 24. Okay, when I see something like this, I go, how can I make life easier? Do I want to go 0, 0, 0, put a 0, 0, 0, and do that way? Or do I want to go like this? 36 times 24. Which of those seems easier to do? Because if I do this, all I need to do is add 2 zeros to the end to get that. So 4 times 6, 24. 4 times 3 is 12, plus 2 is 14. Okay, what do I put here? 0, because that's a 20, right? I'm going to cross that one off. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 3 is 6 plus the 1 is 7. All right, so I'm going to put a 4, 6, and an 8. So over here I would put 8, 6, 4, and 1, 2 zeros. 1, 2, 86,400. And if I look at my chart, booyah, right there, 86,400. Crushed it. All right, last page coming up, then homework.